And staying in South Africa, the father of 4-year-old Bokgabo Poo pounced on an alleged killer, Ntokozo Zikhali, in the Benoni Magistrate Court in Johannesburg. 30-year-old Ntokozo Zikhali has been charged with the kidnapping, rape and murder of the child. Poo's body was found mutilated in Tamboville last week. Meanwhile, protesters demanding justice for the murdered 4-year-old gathered outside the court, demanding that Zikhali should show them where he kept other body parts. They vowed to fight if the accused is given bail. The accused will return to the court next week for bail application after profiling. Now, Martin Ewi, an expert on kidnap cases at the Institute for Security Studies, joins me from Pretoria, South Africa, to take a look at this ugly incident. You're welcome, Martin.
Thank you very much. Good evening to your viewers.
Well, it's quite a concerning and disturbing story there, I must say, Martin. But then tell us, how often, or rather how common, are cases of children being kidnapped in South Africa?
Yes, indeed. This is a very concerning problem in South Africa because the problem of child kidnapping has been growing over the past 20 years. We recorded over 16,000 cases of children kidnapping, and that's very, very concerning. South Africa, when it comes to the rest of the world, South Africa is ranked number 3. That's after Canada and Belgium. In terms of kidnapping rate, where we have 9.6 per 100,000 people in the country. So that's extremely high. And the South African Missing Children Foundation estimate that there are about 20 children that are being kidnapped every 5 hours, which is extremely concerning, for a country like South Africa.
Of course, we've heard of body parts being missing. What do we actually attribute these to? Is it as a result of organ harvesting? Would you call it diabolism, ritualism, sexualism? Tell me, what does this really mean?
Indeed, we are still looking into this to find out what is the case. Most people are already estimating that this was a case of organ harvesting. But if you look at the way the body was mutilated, the body parts were laying all over, meaning that it was not just the extraction of the needed body part, if that was the case, but the whole body was mutilated. So was it a case of ritual? Which could also be a possibility. But indeed, the police are working very hard. The investigation is on, and we hope that we will be able to get to the root of this problem, because the manner in which this child, innocent child, was mutilated is really, really concerning. I don't know whether it was a revenge killing. There are so many reasons why children are kidnapped in South Africa. One being families. So it could be a case of families trying to revenge when custody is given to one parent and the other parent feels aggrieved. We have cases of kidnapping. But this particular one that we're talking about, the Bokgabo case, this is the child was a victim of a criminal act. The individual is known to be a serial criminal when it comes to kidnapping, and therefore we don't know how he has survived previous cases. He is being prosecuted in court. You can also see from the picture that you show how the family is really aggrieved. The community wants to take justice into their hands, but we hope that the law will be the one to prevail in this case, because I think we need to get to the root of the matter. The South African society needs to be able to deal with this kind of crime in a way that we should prevent it from occurring in the future, because it is extremely gruesome and inhuman.
And talking about dealing with situations like this, let's look at the judicial system, because issues like this, or situations like this raise questions about justice system in South Africa. And like you said, the accused is not a first-time offender. So do you think the justice system is doing enough to address crimes like this and keeping the criminals off the streets?
Indeed, we've seen worse cases of child kidnapping in South Africa. Between 2010 and 2014, South Africa used to have very high cases of kidnapping where most of it was for trafficking, and that was a very, very bad kidnapping situations. But we thought we overcame that, but we're now seeing a hike again in the statistics. If you look at what the police published recently here in South Africa, especially when it comes to children's mutilation and also women, we found that, just this year, over 200 children have died in this kind of cases, and over 800 women. So meaning that this crime is extremely serious in South Africa. And I hope that the way the South African government is taking it seriously, that they will be able to apply the law to its fullest, so that those individuals who are running this kind of gruesome crime rings will be able to see justice for themselves and to stop this crime industry that is really eating into the soul of South Africa.
All right, Martin, before I let you go, in terms of application of law, now the accused will be returning to court some days or in the next, that's next week anyway, to the court to file in and get a bail application ratified. Do you think he should be getting that? Do you think he would get it? Because what he did is a gruesome act. Do you think it's something that should be availed to him?
We have seen similar instances like this in the past. If you look at the nature of the crime, just first of all, the fact that the individual, even if he were innocent, cannot be safe. And therefore, I don't see this individual getting a bail because the crime is just heinous. It is just too much for the society. It is just too much for the court to see this and for such an individual to be walking free in the street of South Africa. So I don't see this happening. I know the law sometimes can be very funny, but for this particular case, I think this individual will be detained until justice is brought to him.
Well, I guess that's what the family of the victim will be hoping for, justice. But then thank you so much, Martin, for dropping by.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.